Hello, everyone. Manipulation and deception are the hallmarks of truly malicious individuals. These people do not operate with honesty or integrity. Instead, they twist reality to suit their own needs, often leaving their victims confused, insecure, and doubting their own perceptions. Unlike honest mistakes or misunderstandings, manipulation is intentional. It is a calculated effort to control and influence others for selfish or harmful purposes. A manipulator knows exactly what they are doing, and they do it without guilt or remorse. One of the most common tactics of manipulation is gaslighting, a psychological weapon designed to make someone question their own memory, perception, or sanity. If you've ever felt like you were being made to feel crazy for things you clearly remember or experienced, you may have been a victim of gaslighting. Evil individuals use this tactic to break down their victims, making them dependent and easier to control. Over time, the victim begins to doubt their own judgment, leading to a loss of confidence and increased reliance on the manipulator. Another sign of manipulation is constant lying and deceit. An evil person rarely tells the truth, and when they do, it is often mixed with half-truths or misleading information. They lie effortlessly, sometimes even about things that don't seem to matter. This is because deception is second nature to them. Whether they are lying to cover up their actions, gain an advantage, or simply for the thrill of fooling others, their dishonesty is a core part of who they are. Unlike someone who may lie out of fear or embarrassment, these individuals lie with purpose and precision. Manipulators also play the victim card to gain sympathy and avoid accountability. No matter what they do wrong, they will always find a way to shift the blame onto someone else. They may exaggerate their own suffering, twist the facts of a situation, or paint themselves as helpless in order to gain pity. This is a powerful tactic because most people have a natural tendency to empathize with those in pain. However, with an evil person, their pain is often a fabrication, designed to manipulate the emotions of those around them. Another form of manipulation is emotional blackmail. This occurs when someone uses fear, guilt, or obligation to control another person's actions. For example, they might say, "If you really loved me, you would do this for me," or "I guess I'm just not important to you." This kind of emotional manipulation can be incredibly damaging because it plays on the victim's sense of loyalty and morality. It creates an environment where the victim feels trapped, constantly trying to prove their love or loyalty, even at the cost of their own well-being. Evil manipulators are also masters of selective kindness. They can be incredibly charming, generous, and affectionate when it benefits them. However, this kindness is never genuine. It is merely a tool to keep their victims hooked. Just when someone is ready to leave or stand up for themselves, the manipulator will suddenly shower them with affection, apologies, or gifts. This creates confusion and makes it harder for the victim to walk away. It's a cycle of abuse disguised as love, keeping the victim in a perpetual state of emotional turmoil. A manipulator will also divide and conquer. They thrive on controlling not just individuals, but entire groups. They spread misinformation, twist conversations, and manipulate situations to turn people against each other. They may tell one person one thing and someone else something completely different, creating conflict where there was none. This ensures that they remain at the center of attention while everyone else is too distracted to realize who the real problem is. They enjoy creating chaos because it allows them to maintain power and control. Finally, an evil manipulator exploits trust and vulnerabilities. They study people, learning their weaknesses, insecurities, and desires. Then they use this knowledge to their advantage. If they know you crave validation, they will withhold approval until you conform to their will. If they know you fear abandonment, they will threaten to leave whenever you challenge them. They prey on the very things that make you human, twisting them into weapons to use against you. A defining characteristic of an evil person is their complete lack of empathy. They do not experience emotions the way normal people do. While most of us feel guilt when we hurt someone or compassion when we see someone in pain, these individuals remain unmoved. They are unable or unwilling to put themselves in another person's shoes. This emotional void allows them to inflict harm without a second thought. No matter how much suffering they cause, they do not feel remorse. To them, emotions like guilt and sympathy are weaknesses, things that only lesser people experience. One of the most dangerous aspects of someone who lacks empathy is their ability to fake it when necessary. Some evil people have learned to mimic emotions in order to blend in with society. They might cry at a funeral, pretend to be heartbroken when a tragedy occurs, or feign concern for someone in distress. However, these displays of emotion are purely for show. They do not actually feel the pain they pretend to express. If you watch closely, you may notice inconsistencies, like how quickly they switch from sadness to indifference, or how their emotions only appear when others are watching. Without empathy, these individuals see people as objects rather than human beings. They do not recognize others as having their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Instead, they view people as tools to be used, obstacles to be removed, or sources of amusement. This detachment allows them to manipulate, abuse, or exploit others without hesitation. To them, relationships are not about connection or mutual care, but about control and dominance. Once someone is no longer useful to them, they discard them without a second thought. Another chilling trait of those who lack empathy is their inability to feel remorse, even when confronted with their wrongdoings. If caught in a lie, they do not apologize sincerely. If they hurt someone, they do not feel guilt or shame. Instead, they either shift the blame onto others or simply act as if nothing happened. Even when faced with undeniable proof of their actions, they remain emotionally detached. It is not that they do not understand what they have done, it is that they simply do not care. Because they feel no remorse, these individuals repeat harmful behaviors without hesitation. Most people, after realizing they have hurt someone, try to make amends and avoid repeating the same mistake. But an evil person sees no reason to change. They will continue to lie, cheat, steal, and manipulate over and over again with no concern for the consequences. If they apologize, it is only because they believe it will benefit them in some way, not because they truly regret their actions. This lack of empathy also makes them dangerously indifferent to the suffering of others. If someone is struggling, whether financially, emotionally, or physically, an evil person will not be moved to help. In fact, they may even enjoy seeing others in distress. If they do help, it is not out of kindness, but because they expect something in return. They do not believe in generosity or compassion unless it serves their own interests. If helping someone does not benefit them, they will not lift a finger. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of a person who lacks empathy and remorse is their tendency to justify even the most cruel and inhumane action. They do not see their behavior as wrong, no matter how destructive it is. If they hurt someone, they will say the person deserved it. If they lie, they will claim it was necessary. If they betray someone, they will insist that it was just business. They twist morality to fit their own selfish needs, making it impossible for them to ever feel genuine guilt. Lastly, those without empathy leave a trail of broken people in their wake. Because they cannot form real emotional bonds, they destroy relationships with ease. Friends, family members, co-workers, romantic partners, no one is safe from their cruelty. People who have encountered them often walk away deeply wounded, struggling with trust issues, self-doubt, and emotional scars that can take years to heal. The damage they cause is not just temporary, it can affect their victims for a lifetime. One of the most disturbing traits of a truly evil person is their genuine pleasure in the suffering of others. While most people feel sympathy when they see someone in pain, these individuals experience the opposite. They find it entertaining, satisfying, or even amusing. Whether it is watching someone struggle, fail, or endure emotional or physical distress, they take delight in the misfortunes of others. This is not simply indifference to suffering, it is an active enjoyment of it, revealing a deeply twisted and cruel mindset. This pleasure in suffering can manifest in subtle and overt ways. Some evil individuals are more obvious in their sadistic tendencies, openly laughing at another's pain, mocking someone in distress, or even inflicting harm themselves. Others, however, disguise their enjoyment behind a mask of concern. They may pretend to be supportive while secretly relishing the downfall of someone they pretend to care about. about. This hidden cruelty makes them even more dangerous, as their victims may not even realize that the person helping them is actually enjoying their misery. One way these individuals satisfy their need for cruelty is by emotionally tormenting others. They use insults, humiliation, and mind games to break people down, making them feel weak, insecure, and defeated. Whether through verbal abuse, online harassment, or passive-aggressive remarks, they take joy in knowing they have caused emotional pain. They may act as though their hurtful words are just a joke, or claim that the victim is too sensitive, but in reality, they are fully aware of the harm they cause. In more extreme cases, their lack of humanity leads them to cause physical harm without remorse. These individuals may engage in acts of violence, bullying, or cruelty toward animals, all because it gives them a sense of power. Unlike people who lash out in anger or self-defense, these individuals hurt others simply because they want to. They do not need a reason, and they certainly do not feel guilt. Their ability to inflict pain without a second thought is what makes them truly dangerous. Another way they display their love for suffering is by sabotaging others. Whether in personal relationships, the workplace, or social settings, they take great pleasure in watching others fail. They may deliberately give bad advice, spread false rumors, or create situations that lead to someone's downfall. If a friend is succeeding, they will secretly root for them to fail. If a coworker is up for a promotion, they will do everything they can to ensure they do not get it. The thought of someone else thriving makes them bitter, while the sight of someone struggling fills them with satisfaction. These individuals often exploit vulnerable people because they are easier to manipulate and harm. They target those who are struggling emotionally, financially, or physically, knowing that they will be less likely to fight back. They may take advantage of someone's kindness, use their fears against them, or push them into situations where they feel powerless. The more control they have over a vulnerable person, the greater their enjoyment. For them, seeing someone helpless is not a call for compassion, but an opportunity for cruelty. Perhaps one of the most chilling aspects of these individuals is their lack of response to suffering that most people would find unbearable. If they witness a tragedy, whether personal or global, they remain indifferent or, worse, amused. They do not grieve when others experience loss, nor do they feel sadness when faced with disaster. Instead, they may use these situations for their own benefit, exploiting them to gain attention, sympathy, or personal gain. Even in moments of crisis, their focus remains on themselves and how they can turn the situation into something that serves their interests. Even when confronted with their actions, these individuals refuse to acknowledge their cruelty. They may deny, justify, or even shift the blame onto the victim, claiming that they deserved it or brought it upon themselves. Some will act as though they are completely unaware of the harm they cause, pretending to be innocent while continuing their pattern of destruction. This refusal to take responsibility only reinforces their evil nature, allowing them to continue their cycle of inflicting pain without consequence. One of the most defining traits of an evil person is their need to create chaos and drama wherever they go. While most people seek peace, stability, and positive relationships, these individuals thrive in conflict and disorder. They deliberately stir up tension, manipulate situations, and pit people against each other for their own amusement or personal gain. Their ability to create chaos is not accidental. It is calculated and intentional, serving as a means of control and dominance over those around them. These individuals often start drama by spreading lies and rumors. They twist facts, exaggerate situations, or completely fabricate stories to manipulate how others perceive events or people. They might tell one person something negative about another, then turn around and tell a different version of the story to someone else, creating confusion and hostility. The result: broken friendships, trust issues, and an environment filled with suspicion and tension. And while everyone else is dealing with the fallout, the evil person watches with satisfaction, knowing they have successfully disrupted the harmony around them. A common tactic they use to create chaos is playing both sides in a conflict. If two people have a disagreement, the evil person will insert themselves into the situation, pretending to support each side while secretly fueling the conflict. They will whisper to one person, "I can't believe they treated you like that," and then turn around and say the exact same thing to the other person. This technique ensures that the conflict continues to escalate rather than resolve. Their goal is not to help, but to maintain division, keeping people at odds while they remain in control. In personal relationships, these individuals thrive on emotional manipulation and mind games. They may alternate between being kind and cruel, offering love one moment and rejection the next. This unpredictability creates emotional instability in their victims, making them more vulnerable and easier to control. The person on the receiving end of this manipulation is left constantly guessing, trying to earn the evil person's approval while never realizing that the game is rigged. This constant state of uncertainty leads to anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. At work or in group settings, they will stir up unnecessary drama to shift attention onto themselves. They might start arguments over trivial matters, accuse others of things they didn't do, or create fake crises that only they can fix. This ensures that they remain at the center of attention, always in control of the narrative. If things are running smoothly, they will find a way to disrupt the peace because they cannot stand being irrelevant or overlooked. Their actions are not driven by a desire for progress or improvement, but by a deep-seated need for dominance and recognition. Another way they create chaos is through constant victimhood and false accusations. If they are caught in a lie or exposed for their manipulative behavior, they will quickly shift the blame onto others, playing the victim to avoid accountability. They will accuse others of mistreating them, even when they are the ones responsible for the harm. By positioning themselves as the real victim, they manipulate others into defending them, further dividing people and escalating conflict. This tactic ensures that attention is diverted away from their wrongdoing and onto those they have accused. These individuals also thrive in environments where they can create division and discord. They enjoy watching friendships crumble, families fight, and communities turn against each other. Instead of bringing people together, they work tirelessly to drive wedges between them. They exploit insecurities, reveal secrets, and use past grievances to stir up resentment and anger. If they see unity and harmony, they see an opportunity to dismantle it. Their satisfaction comes not from resolution or peace, but from the destruction of relationships and trust. Perhaps the most dangerous aspect of an evil person's love for chaos is their ability to make others believe that the drama is not their fault. Because they are skilled manipulators, they rarely take direct responsibility for the conflict they create. Instead, they remain in the background, acting as though they are merely observing while others tear each other apart. By the time people realize the chaos was manufactured by them, it is often too late. The damage has already been done. An evil person's relationships are built on one-sided transactions. They do not form genuine connections based on mutual respect or care. Instead, they see others as tools to be used for their own benefit. Whether in friendships, romantic relationships, or professional settings, their goal is always the same: to extract as much value as possible while giving nothing in return. Once someone has served their purpose, they are discarded without hesitation or guilt. One of the most common ways they exploit people is through emotional manipulation. They prey on the kindness, generosity, and empathy of others, using guilt and obligation as weapons. They may act helpless, constantly relying on others to solve their problems, yet they never make an effort to change their own circumstances. They know that good-hearted people will go out of their way to help, and they take full advantage of this, draining others emotionally and mentally while offering no support in return. In romantic relationships, their exploitation is even more insidious. They often love-bomb their victims at first, showering them with affection, praise, and attention to gain their trust. Once they have secured their hold over the person, they begin to manipulate, control, and drain them. They will use their partner's love against them, demanding endless favors, money, or sacrifices, all while offering nothing in return. The victim is left feeling confused, exhausted, and trapped in a relationship where they are constantly giving but never receiving. Financial exploitation is another hallmark of an evil person. They will borrow money they never intend to repay, guilt trip others into paying for their expenses, or even steal outright. They use deceitful tactics to get what they want, playing the victim or making empty promises about repaying their debts. Even when they are confronted about their behavior, they will either deny wrongdoing or shift the blame onto the person they have stolen from. They have no sense of responsibility or fairness, only an insatiable desire to take from others. Another way they exploit others is by taking credit for other people's hard work. In professional or academic settings, they will manipulate their way into leadership positions while doing little to no work. They may steal ideas, sabotage colleagues, or set others up to fail so they can appear more competent. These individuals do not believe in earning success. Instead, they thrive on using others to climb higher while leaving a trail of exploited people behind them. They also use people as pawns in their personal vendettas. If they have a grudge against someone, they will manipulate others into turning against that person, doing their dirty work for them. They spread lies, twist narratives, and stir up hostility while keeping their own hands clean. In many cases, the people they use do not even realize they are being manipulated, believing they are standing up for the wronged individual, when in reality, they are being weaponized for someone else's selfish goals. An evil person's exploitation extends to preying on the vulnerabilities of others. They specifically target those who are struggling, people who are lonely, insecure, grieving, or in a difficult life situation, because they know these individuals are more likely to tolerate mistreatment. They offer false kindness or pretend to be supportive, only to use the person's weakness to their advantage. Once the victim realizes they are being used and tries to pull away, the evil person may retaliate with manipulation, guilt, or threats to keep them under control. Finally, perhaps the most damaging aspect of their exploitation is that they never feel grateful or satisfied. No matter how much someone gives, it is never enough. They will always demand more, expecting others to sacrifice their time, energy, resources, and well-being for them without hesitation. Once they have drained someone completely, they will simply move on to their next target, showing no remorse or appreciation for everything they have taken. Event individuals are compulsive and pathological liars. They lie with ease, without hesitation, and often without any apparent reason. While most people may lie occasionally out of fear, embarrassment, or necessity, these individuals lie as a way of life. Their lies are not just small exaggerations or white lies. They are calculated, manipulative, and often intended to cause harm. Whether they are deceiving others to gain an advantage, cover up wrongdoing, or simply for the thrill of manipulation, their dishonesty is deeply ingrained in who they are. One of the most dangerous aspects of their lying is their ability to make their falsehoods seem completely believable. They can tell a lie with such confidence, emotion, and conviction that even the most skeptical person may begin to doubt themselves. They often mix partial truths with lies to make their deception harder to detect. If confronted, they will double down, gaslight, or shift the blame onto someone else, making it nearly impossible to hold them accountable. These individuals also lie to control narratives and manipulate how others perceive them. They craft elaborate stories about their lives, exaggerating achievements, fabricating hardships, or playing the victim to gain sympathy and admiration. They may paint themselves as heroes, making themselves seem more accomplished or noble than they actually are, or as martyrs who have been unfairly wronged by the world. The goal is always to shape reality in a way that benefits them, even if it means deceiving everyone around them. One of their most sinister tactics is lying to destroy other people's reputations. If they see someone as a threat, an obstacle, or even just someone they dislike, they will spread false rumors, twist words, and create fabricated accusations to ruin that person's credibility. They may accuse someone of wrongdoing without evidence, manipulate situations to make the person look bad, or plant seeds of doubt in others' minds to turn them against their target. This form of deception is especially harmful because it can cause real damage to careers, friendships, and even families. Another common way they use deception is through gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation in which they make their victims question their own memories, perceptions, and sanity. They may tell someone that something they clearly remember never happened, that they are overreacting, or that they are imagining things. Over time, this erodes the victim's confidence in their own judgment, making them easier to control. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of lying because it not only deceives, it reshapes a person's entire reality. These pathological liars are also masters of shifting blame. Whenever they are caught in a lie, they will quickly deflect attention away from themselves. They might accuse someone else of lying, claim that they were misunderstood, or even lash out in anger to intimidate the person confronting them. If all else fails, they will play the victim, acting as though they are the ones being unfairly attacked. They refuse to take responsibility for their lies because doing so would mean losing control over the situation. What makes them especially dangerous is that their lies are often difficult to prove. They are skilled at covering their tracks, erasing evidence, and creating alibis that make it seem as though they are telling the truth. They surround themselves with enablers who believe their lies or benefit from their deception, making it even harder for others to expose them. Even when their dishonesty is uncovered, they may continue to lie, twisting the situation until those around them no longer know what to believe. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of their deception is that they do not feel guilt or remorse for their lies. While most people experience discomfort when they deceive others, these individuals do not. They lie without conscience, without hesitation, and without any regard for the harm they cause. To them, truth is meaningless. Only power, control, and personal gain matter. Their dishonesty is not just a habit, it is a fundamental part of their identity. One of the most disturbing traits of an evil person is their complete inability to feel guilt or take responsibility for their actions. While most people experience remorse when they hurt someone, these individuals remain emotionally detached. They do not feel the weight of their wrongdoings, nor do they care about the consequences of their actions. Whether they have betrayed a friend, manipulated a loved one, or caused significant harm, they simply move on as if nothing happened. Their lack of guilt allows them to repeat the same behaviors over and over again without hesitation. When confronted about their behavior, rather than owning up to their mistakes, they deny, deflect, and shift the blame onto others. If caught lying, they will insist they were misunderstood. If they are cruel, they will claim the victim deserved it. If they hurt someone emotionally or financially, they will justify their actions rather than apologizing. Their refusal to accept responsibility creates a cycle in which they never learn from their actions, and those around them are left to deal with the damage they have caused. Another troubling aspect of their lack of guilt is their ability to rewrite reality to suit their needs. If a situation does not benefit them, they will twist the facts, create false narratives, or completely deny events that have taken place. They do not see truth as something that must be acknowledged, but rather as something that can be reshaped to fit their agenda. This enables them to escape consequences, manipulate others into believing their version of events, and continue their destructive behavior without remorse. These individuals also weaponize victimhood to avoid accountability. Rather than taking responsibility for their actions, they will act as though they are the ones who have been wronged. They will claim that others are being unfair, that they are misunderstood, or that they are being attacked for no reason. This manipulative tactic shifts attention away from their wrongdoing and onto the people who dare to hold them accountable. By playing the victim, they create sympathy for themselves while making those who challenge them look like aggressors. Because they lack guilt, they also lack any genuine motivation to change. Most people, when they realize they have done something wrong, reflect on their actions, learn from their mistakes, and strive to do better. An evil person does none of this. If they do change their behavior, it is only to avoid getting caught in the future, not because they truly regret their action. They see remorse as a weakness, something that only lesser people experience. As a result, they continue their harmful behavior without hesitation. Their refusal to take responsibility also means that they leave behind a trail of destruction wherever they go. Friendships, families, workplaces, and communities suffer because of their actions, yet they never acknowledge the harm they have caused. Relationships fall apart, people experience emotional trauma, and trust is shattered. But the evil person feels nothing. In their mind, the problem is never them, it is always someone else. They do not see the damage they create because they do not care about the well-being of others. Another alarming consequence of their lack of guilt is that they are never truly held accountable, even when they deserve to be. Because they manipulate others so effectively, they often escape consequences that would be inevitable for anyone else. They use charm, deception, and intimidation to ensure that those around them either ignore their wrongdoings or even defend them. The more people let them get away with their actions, the bolder they become, further cementing their belief that they can do whatever they please without repercussion. Ultimately, their lack of guilt and responsibility makes them one of the most dangerous types of individuals to be be around. Without remorse, they have no moral boundaries. They will lie, cheat, steal, manipulate, and hurt others without a second thought. They do not experience the inner conflict that stops most people from engaging in harmful behavior. Because of this, they are capable of extreme cruelty, all while convincing themselves, and sometimes others, that they have done nothing wrong. A defining characteristic of an evil person is their complete absence of empathy and compassion. While most people naturally feel for others, whether it's joy in their success or sadness in their pain, these individuals are emotionally disconnected. They do not experience the deep human connection that allows people to care for one another. Instead, they view others as mere objects to be used, manipulated, or discarded as needed. Their inability to relate to the emotions of others makes them cold, calculating, and often dangerous. This lack of empathy is evident in their indifference to suffering. When they witness someone in pain, whether it is physical, emotional, or financial, they do not feel compelled to help. If a friend is going through a difficult time, they will not offer support or comfort. If a family member is struggling, they will show no concern. They may even react with irritation or mockery, seeing the suffering of others as an inconvenience rather than a moment that calls for kindness. This emotional void makes them incapable of forming genuine, meaningful relationships. What makes these individuals especially disturbing is that they can fake empathy when it benefits them. If showing concern or compassion will help them gain trust, manipulate someone, or improve their reputation, they will put on an act. They may pretend to care when others are watching, offering words of encouragement or appearing sympathetic. However, the moment they are no longer in the spotlight, their facade disappears. Their kindness is never sincere. It is merely a tool they use to get what they want. Because they lack empathy, they also lack the ability to feel guilt or remorse. When they hurt others, they do not reflect on their actions or feel bad about the harm they have caused. They do not consider how their lies, manipulations, or betrayals affect the people around them. To them, emotions like guilt and regret are weaknesses, things that only fools experience. This emotional void allows them to continue hurting people without a second thought, making them especially dangerous to those who trust them. Their lack of compassion is most evident in their treatment of the weak and vulnerable. Most people instinctively protect and care for those who are struggling, whether it's a child, an elderly person, or someone facing hardship. Evil individuals, on the other hand, see these people as easy targets. They take advantage of vulnerability rather than offering support. They may manipulate, exploit, or even mock those who are in distress, seeing them as nothing more than opportunities for personal gain. These individuals also show no genuine interest in others' feelings, struggles, or achievements. If a friend or loved one shares good news, they will not be happy for them. If someone talks about their hardships, they will either dismiss it or turn the conversation back to themselves. They do not engage in relationships to build connections. They engage only when there is something to gain. This self-centered nature makes them incapable of being truly supportive or caring, leaving the people in their lives feeling unimportant and neglected. Perhaps one of the most chilling aspects of their lack of empathy is their enjoyment of cruelty. Because they do not feel sympathy for others, they may take pleasure in seeing people struggle. They may laugh at others' pain, mock their failures, or even intentionally cause harm just to watch the reaction. They do not see people as fellow human beings with emotions and struggles. They see them as entertainment tools or obstacles. This callousness makes them some of the most toxic individuals to be around. Ultimately, their absence of empathy means that they are incapable of genuine love, friendship, or connection. They may pretend to care when it suits them, but their true nature always reveals itself over time. Without the ability to relate to or care for others, they leave behind a trail of broken relationships, emotional destruction, and suffering. Those who come into contact with them often walk away feeling drained, betrayed, and deeply wounded, because an evil person's cold heart has no room for anyone but themselves.